So yeah, I get to meet Beth, and this is like, all books in the book. And one thing that we talked about on the way to the club, we were talking about stories. And this is basic, we said about the kids. We said that. And it's like, plus, so, those things. So, because I told them about it, I'm going to do and we were just going to tell you a story. I've got a couple more episodes to make up. Things that people can know. I've been very successful. And yeah, but you can't do it without emotion. And I think that's one of the things that we all get to understand is who's going to be challenges. If you do that, then you can see them in the kind of story. And really, if you don't really like the story, just look at it. Tell a little bit about yourself and where you came from, and you got to get those opportunities. So, just like,
First of all, thank you for having me. So, really what a beautiful campus it is. What a beautiful campus. So, I told the story. So, we don't have a question. So, we asked the to in this cycle, let's go to the story. Okay. So, I'm in Texas. You guys heard of Edgewood? Canton, Texas. So, that's where I grew up. All the girls went on to be teachers, and all the guys went on to work at the fire department. That's just kind of it. And so we did not have a lot of money. I wanted to keep talking. I wanted to keep doctor. And so, I wanted to be a doctor. What told me? So I decided to go to college. Take a medical class. I took blood. I took how to realize but it kind of pretty damn good at it. So I took classes at TJC, and then both my parents got sick. And then I was just in time. So I moved back home and took care of my parents. And moved to Trump. And at that point, it was just something I wanted to do. So I had a good friend who was there to take care of me. Pretty Texas and medical care. What's my coming from the States? So I'm driving to remember the day when we were Texas. There was something that came in the air of this thing. It was like a little part of you living in the so probably if you go, and then I did something else with some of the whole department, and then I did the whole part of the and it was a thing with something that I could be behind it. So it was always so we didn't talk about it. Decided that I was going to go to something different. And anytime I got married, beautiful, amazing, so we just told yesterday, big time. And so my daughter went to the divorce. She got the next thing. There's nothing else to do. It's not work. Take it every work I do. And every effort to do the best in the divorce. Plastic plates, part of the flowers, all the decor pieces, but it works pretty well. And she remembers that to this day. But we work in a company was pretty much influenced by it. And so some of the things that I was involved in said, hey, are sleeping for them. And that's exactly that's not very beginning because at one point the board of directors was like, so, what do you think of me? And I was like, not enough, or we're going to get better at okay, and so I took over as the CEO. And he's not. So, I became CEO of the company, and my first job was we opened the halls down, we did business down the park, because I came in and said, this company was full equity. We want to sell the company, your job is to be ready to sell. And I said, okay, so 4 years later, we went and had $178,000 in cash, $4 million in EBITDA, and I sold the company called BGSF. And so a lot of investors stacking, they have two other divisions, focusing professional services and marketing. And I told the CEO that I said, I have zero intentions whatsoever to stack those chairs. I'm confident with chairs, I don't want to do it. I saw how much industry stacking for many years and and so he's like, no problem. So 2 months to use the other part is accounting starting to here. So it's something you want to do with questions. We went public for a long time, so we became public company. I was running 2 different divisions, and then we went to a sales process, and it was a best sales process. My predecessor was not efficient, really didn't care anything about implementing anything that he bought. He really cared more about the giving me the list, because let's be honest, I did not get that plan. Anyway, so we went through, and so they believed their best sales process. And the feedback was that it wasn't convenient. It was all kind of different. So after that was the COO. And at that point, we had 13 different offices, 13 different brands that we had acquired. And for 2 years, we went through that. We did another sales process. We had 2 best sales processes because the line investment division that I had come from didn't feel like and so they said, you need to get rid of that. And so I sold that division off. I took over as the CEO in 2018, and we came to that. And I think I forgot. I'm exhausted. Sorry, I'm not even talking to somebody. I'm exhausted from all the stuff that you're doing. And it's just like you're doing it. It has been the funnest thing because it's huge. And we were a people company, so we made, I always that we were changing lives. Everything starts at the top. Everything. Food for kids, you get to buy it, you get to regular, reading something, you get to close on the wall. And if everything goes right, you have all the necessities in your life you can care of personally with your family, then you can go to use a community. Community change. That's why I always feel good. I always feel like the kids who watch the people hurt, and in many places, it's like trajectories of families. Something who come out, we go to somebody and makes it. Never. Just for changes to go to the family. Are you involved in any activities? Okay. Since you were still in my history, a year always doesn't do. And you were told that school was the place to be. And I was a pleasant. I was a it just wasn't always good. So I signed up and did everything to not. So every time I need to do traffic, basketball, I did freelance as well. And then I started working on these photos. And system to go to get very far. I think that I was uncomfortable because I was never really back down to the part of many cases, especially in the behavior analysis not the way so there always took it as a think about it in terms of why not? And why not? I mean, I see many that have no idea what people are talking about. Why not? I learned how to say yes when I didn't have a clue as to what I was supposed to do. But for now, those were saying yes all the time. You know, when I was doing all the extra stuff, we would be trying to work with Lord. And we go, that's the reason why that's not it. But I learned why not? Why not me? Why not us? Why not? Again, it became such a powerful thing for me to go and see the thing to not to.
So, we really do so there's two possibilities. So yes, saying yes. It seems sometimes really good and good and make it correct. So, to be able to remember, you just hear that saying yes around the amazing. I like it. You kind of tell me about it.
She is the most I was so blessed. She's powerful to I don't set time. You have to set a time for what your kids are doing. But you just do it. And everything around you is there. It's fine. As you go for her and for us and for everybody around you. I love you. The same thing. One of the see it first. And saying yes to further projects, getting to store management, that she started her job district. So she was the youngest chief of staff on the Hill of her. And then she had different staff inflows, and they were wanting to study from 60 down. And she decided she needed to be a hospital, so she put her to her as a going job and decided to, which she did amazing. And she was taking all the different things that she had in her life. And then she decided, because of that, she's got a great network of powerful people. And so somebody reached out to her and said, hey, we are a youth company and we do academy ceremonies and we do come to the US and she is the first US employee to go and work with the government to get money for this business. I'm so happy for her. She's amazing. She's the smartest person I've ever met. So,
it's more like so you started to say yes. And then you also like to tell us about the
so you should always surround yourself with a person who works. These are people who have a lot of distance friends But you need people that you can, that are going to think you're what is stupid, right? They're going to challenge you, and they say, why do you think that's what you need to do? So you need that person on your board of directors. You need the person that actually knows numbers, because I'm talking from this. You need the one who's got the strategic vision of that, and then you need the one who knows you more than anything first. Like, you can see this to anything, but you still know in their core who you are. That's the group of people you put together, and when you need to backside those on people, face with a problem, you have your business going on. But there's a goal you play with the business, where you have to goal you play with somebody with people who know you very so you should always make a personal goal to let everybody see you. Because you don't use your public purpose. Because you might not believe people. But that's what you're supposed to go to directors.
Everybody in the group and talk trash. Where did it go?
We don't want that. I think the power of networking is especially so these are things we talk about to you want them because when things happen go around, everybody was saying, person, produce, and then for everybody who you are the one who needs to help and we need to determine as a group who we are going to help ourselves with. And that empowerment within a community was always great.
Also, thinking how you can hear about it. You said that other than the network. So my question for you is, talk about network. You have the boxes, yes. This brings up questions. Quitting jobs. If you're lazy. The 5 words. Correct. And I'll let you finish that sentence and then tell us what you think is the speech.
I think IT is an amazing new technology. There's to be smart use of it, and there's to be smart use of it. And my version, which was up until the tools, we found that people were using it to try to make it basically these things that people they thought needed to be put in, not move forward to the next place. Lots of the laws that states put out, they cannot sue the state systems that they're not smart enough to be able to do that. There's biases in the systems, and so there's some problems in them. So that's kind of new for them. So there's tons out there. There's studies, and if you're as opposed to here, they're absolutely found that, when you can find a job, and you will probably come to these kind of places and box to so huge problem. Many people, we saw that investigation back in the career is not conspicuous. So my opinion, I think it goes back to networking is the only skill in every single house. And probably because you cannot replace people. You cannot replace the interaction of the only network people with internet. When you talk to people about that's what you can do. You want people knowing you're in the room. You want people who know you, talk about you, not in the room, and not networking pieces. Very big. So if you're in a journey to start your career, change your career, do it everything.
And you talk about just meeting everybody with call.
Join groups, volunteer, just so many different things. So if you, whatever you're supposed to be using, those resources is an expensive tool. Whether it's hard drama, whether it's accounting, whether it's technology, there are groups. Find groups of nonprofits. Nonprofit group is amazing. And just go out and talk to those people because those people are making money not only from their business community or their nonprofit group. And again, they're about uplifting. So you put yourself in situations where you're talking to people, joining groups, volunteering. And in Dallas, I'm always very surprised that so many of the same people show up at the same things. And it's a big city. And I walked into another 1,000 people that all know everyone, you know? And so it's kind of one of those things where the more you do it, the more the people network, those are the people. Those are the people.
So, I talked about a little transition. How did you see from no decision about a decision? Explain some of this. What your previous, what you think future look at this is going to be career?
You know, I think so many times or something. When I took over as CEO, we didn't know how to get to the start. No clue to the environment. So it wasn't, you know, it was a pivot go out from and once we figured out that every single know where to move back. And so we will, at the end of 2023, we carpool because we probably heard of we definitely be public. And so we will be back. And at that point, we had gone through, we changed out all the technology, we had 13 different brands and 5 acquisitions since then we came over. And we had gone and rebranded everybody in both these groups. We were ready to be big companies. So we had a hashtag. It was completely new. So we thought this thing had a really price and space on it. And so when we decided to start a company, we could do something. So we started at that point, obviously, I wasn't prepared. So I knew for about a year that was going to happen. But I didn't stop when we had to think about what that was going to be. Right? Think about it in terms of succession as to what happens in futures of success is going to be. You don't necessarily think about what your success is. So when I stepped out in July 1st, you know, it was kind of like, I woke up the next day and I reached out and it was very, very weird. And then I went to, who am I? You know, the CEO was supposed to do an article on me for the July issue and I killed it because I was not a CEO. And I was like, oh my gosh. And my husband's like, what are you going to do? You're not going to do like a random school. What are you going to do now? What are you going to do now? No, I'm not going to ask you what you're going to do. I had to figure out what I was going to do. And I was really good at taking this way. And I felt very unprepared for about 6 months. And because part of it was, I knew what I knew, but forgiveness was like, God, definitely not prepared. And what does that look like? And some people a lot of association. And part of that was, my personality. I do something really personal personality, which, I think is the best of really chemically. I don't have to have new clothes. I don't know what I'm worried about. That's responsible. So, that was one of them. I thought about doing travel and food person. So I went all over the world with my husband's friend. Let's do this. Anyway, so we thought we kind of, I always thought I wanted to be on Mars. So I'm part of a lot of groups that are on Mars. But I had started deciding to stop what was happening. And so I started getting used to school. You and I were able to set up a class out. So that was great. And
You said yes. Clearly, whenever you found it, traditional person.
he said yes. That's what it is. So yes. Believe it or not, I don't really expect it. And then I got asked to speak for our association, both of our associations, and the association. Both immediately reached out and said, hey, we know you're not able to if you're growing more, but we really want to reach the industry. And so now I'm speaking at both of their events. I speak for the in the fall. I'm part of their leadership women's council. We have a Friday Live event we spoke, which is everyone that's coming in October, and I'm committed to that. So I really just decided that it was kind of one of those things where what do people else talk about? And what do I need to be doing with that? And so really, people ask me to talk about strategy and M&A, because that's really getting your company ready to sell. And then once if you buy something, what do you do with it? And that was really where my you're supposed to go here. Everybody said this is what you need to do. So we launched We Have Go on my website, and then so it's just like a strategic leadership website. And the whole thing that you may want to know, I can't go to some person. This is again, it's only very like, you talk about people who want to do business together. I don't know. And so I'm just going to kind of let it happen. And I'm going to be good with it. And who knows, I still might be useful.
I'm going to get on Instagram just to watch my kids' response to their closets.
My daughter's really because we're the same size. So incredibly amazing. The people all understood everyone understood why. I never known the company was to be public. I always felt like at the end of the day, people were going to be back to the business that they made. The company wasn't on the business. But at the end of the day, I would continue to speak on the business. I would go to something. And that's the biggest part. I went through an amazing overhaul that we started together. They are actually the transaction is the company sold them, they do the transaction, and they I think we're going to go through and we will have a big thing. Always keep it up with the word and the one I know. Yeah, they gave me a go to my party. I'm just very walking I'm walking to the person and all the photos and all the different things that we do different companies whether you're all in volunteering or garden community to go on to and celebrate and to do the job. And it was the most precious gift because it really was a celebration. Not only did we have my time at the GS, but and everybody's contribution to the event. That's been a hard time.
And this one person, the big gift, the big dream for the organization, it's just open up those neighbors. Because you met neighbors. Right. How do we do that?
People just going to continue to be negotiating. Unfortunately, I don't there was a like this one. I think that you're not the best person that people think of. I don't think that you have to engineer or group of engineers that you probably know for them. And that can be overlooked sometimes. Is really important to be able to think smartly and loud is tragic. I think that there should be ways that people are looking at making sure they're doing the right things and sure that they're bringing in the right people and people getting a seat at the table. So I think there's been some good effort in that area. But at the end of the day, I think that the need is so precious. And I think that we will get to and be this return to society. And we need to bring everybody up with us because that's what we do. We bring people up and I think that there will be more and more groups that are sponsored. I think there will be more and more colleges that go through and try to do different things to maybe go at the top of that thing and not get something, but they can make sure they have good programs that can help them succeed. And I think that we will continue to always see because you're not on the same as you. You're opening yours and keys.
Well, when you push them through and decide to reach out to the house first, because reaching out to friends,
got good friends.
now your network is even bigger, it gets more and more popular, but I don't do a couple times a week, just like progressive. I want you to know that when it comes to different possess access to you, you need to check for it because this is what versus this is not about you spending this. And it's several things that is really enjoyable. Both of those are too. So, both of those things. Another person is a blessing on you and your future endeavors also are good. So, thank you so much for both. Use the rest, use the juice, and have so many people to your life. Big process on your life, probably. The work that she's doing, there is so much food. I really hope to keep us to sometimes there's a reason for making things that creates the energy to